So with the whole coronavirus here and a lot of people being laid off and all this other stuff, I found that lenders have really tightened up on their lending. And this may be old news to some of you, this might be news to some of you, but they have tightened up so much so that if you're self-employed, it's become a lot more harder to go for lending. And so a client of mine went for lending a mortgage application, and she's self-employed. And she didn't have any success. She didn't have any success at all. And that was because she is self-employed. So when she came and told me her issue, I said, you need to go and get yourself a part-time job because, that is quite a common issue for people who were self-employed. That if, you have, and I've said this before in my videos before, you have a lot more better chance at lending if you're in some form of employment, even if it's part-time employment. You're a lot more better if you have a solid income, meaning like some kind of permanent contract. With self-employed, it's so up and down, and with restrictions, closures, lockdowns, a lot of jobs are, they're kind of, it's a challenge really. You're not guaranteed your work tomorrow because you're not guaranteed if your business is going to open doors tomorrow. And because so much people are in that situation, lenders now have restricted their lending quite significantly. And a lot of the ways forward is by getting some form of part-time employment. And you know what? That's something I would consider if it ever came to it. You can never be too uppity to think to yourself that, I might need to actually go in self-employed employment if I plan to get more mortgages. And if you're trying to grow and if you are growing and you are moving forward and you have goals that you want to attain to and you need lending, then that's something you're going to have to consider. You know what I'm saying? So that was the situation she was in, and I told her to go and get a part-time job. So now that's what she's gone to do, is go and find herself a part-time job. And I think property is like that. It's not, you don't just get into it and you just get bags full of money and it stays consistent all the time. Now, I'm only speaking from experience, and I'm also speaking from my other friends who this has happened to, or just people who I've seen in the industries who, they step out into the investment world. It does go great. It goes great, but then sometimes you find that you can come to a standstill, especially if your portfolio is not performing as well as it could be, or if you're having to backtrack or you've offloaded on some of your portfolio. People get the impression that you come into property and all you ever do is grow financially. And if you're playing your cards right, yes, and you can grow financially. You can be steady and financially steady, slow and steady wins the race, or you can be quick and fast. But at the same time, you've got to be making sure that you're not over leveraging yourself. But at the same time, you've also got to be prepared to, do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that a friend of mine experienced, and client experienced, and I wanted to share that story with you because it's just realities of property. It's the realities of property. She's already a property owner, but this is the place that she's found herself in, and getting a part-time job is what she's going to have to do. Speaking to her mortgage broker, he seconded me on that's what you're going to have to do. So just don't feel too funny if you're finding yourself in this situation. Just do what you got to do. And this is why I say people who are employed, you guys are already in good situations. You're in a good position, because if you're employed, then your access to lending is a lot better than people who were not employed or who were not self-employed. They have access to lending, but you, as someone who's employed, may have 5 lenders willing to lend, whereas someone who's self-employed or not in employment has 1. So, and then as well as that, the one who has the 5 has all these different rates. You get some who are willing to pay, where you don't, so you pay your own lender's fees. So where you don't pay your own lender's fees, you don't have to pay survey fees, arrangement fees. So you have a lot more flexibility, if that makes sense. With the lender, they offer you a lot more, I don't know what you even want to call those things. They offer you a lot more, I don't know, perks. I'll say perks for now, because that's kind of like a perk. If a lender's going to lend to you and they're saying, well, you don't need to pay for arrangement fee, that's like a perk. It's like, what? I don't have to pay for my arrangement fee. This is good, But some lenders are like, oh, you're self-employed. Well, you know what? We will lend to you at 7%. You got to pay for everything. We ain't pay for nothing. And it's like, whoa, wait, I'm about to pay you 7% a year. At least rub me up nice or something. You know what I mean? Give me something. It's that type of thing where, you just have to be mindful that if you want the best rates, sometimes you do have to do. It seems like you're taking 2 steps back, but when there's a goal in place, it's not 2 steps back. Because if you've got your 12 months goals there, and you're saying, look, in 12 months, I want to buy another house, right? Then you might need a part-time job in order to get good interest rates, because if you stand alone as a self-employed person, you might get rates, but they might be all 5%, 6%, and you don't want to be stuck with a 5%, 6% mortgage for the next 15 to 25 years. So what you're going to do is you go get yourself a part-time job, and you only need it for 3 months. 3 months, how's that income coming in? And when you put your mortgage application, you can say, yeah, look, I've been working for the past 3 months. This is my income. I can apply for the rent in case anything happens. That's what they're checking for, isn't it? I'm so used to the way they can do the accent really good now. Yeah, but that's what they're checking for. So, you tell them, this is what I can do. And Bob's your uncle. They're like, oh, well, look, she looks like she can afford it. She's like, she got a bit extra cash. Let's give her the loan and give her 3.5. You're like, well, thanks. And we'll pay your solicitor's costs. Well, I'll be damned. Thank you. But you got to pay your own arrangement fees. Well, that's cool. I got that, And then the terms are better. They're just better. So something to consider. If you have to get a job to get better interest rates and better mortgage and better access to lending, then do what you gotta do. Don't feel no way about it. I'm telling you that right now. So, and for those of you who are full-time starting out in property investing, you're not in a bad place. You're not in a bad position. And this whole video, everything I just said, will tell you why you're not in a bad position, because you got better access to funding. Only thing you would need to find is your deposit. And if you got your deposit, good. Go and buy an investment house, and start stacking for investment properties, and then get your own property at the end. That's my thing. And although you can, unless for first-time buyers, they were doing this 5% mortgaging. I don't even know where that's gone with that. If they're still doing that, good. 5% deposit, not 5% mortgage, 5% deposit, right? You could go and get yourself a nice below market value property, put your interest down on that, and get a property like that you move into, and then release some equity later on and do your whole deposit thing again. You could do that way too. Does that make sense what I just said? That makes sense. So rather than you get your investment property, you go and get yourself a property that you're going to live in with your 5% deposit down, right? They got the whole 95% mortgage. But if you can get it below market value, like, agent, old lady's house, and you can spend some time doing it up, spend about a year doing it up. This is a very slow way, mind you, but it's a way. Spend some time doing it up. Go back after a year. No, 2 years. Well, depends on what depends on what the terms of the mortgage are. Because usually if they're fixed for 2 years, then you've got to wait 2 years. If it's fixed for 5 years, you've got to wait 5 years. Because usually if you're going to refinance, you can refinance with the same lender though. But I think there's still time periods there because they want to make as much money as they can. So you'd have to find out all that information ahead of time. Tell your mortgage broker that's what you're planning to do. And release some money for your property that you live in. And to be honest, rates are a lot more better for residential mortgages. The interest rates are a lot more better than if you're getting a buy-to-let mortgage anyway. So that's not a bad idea. I just thought about that. Not a bad idea, right? So stuff to consider. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. It just came to me that I really wanted to share this story. This is a very informal video, nothing fancy, just me in my dressing gown. Oh my goodness, I've just realised. Me in my dressing gown at home, just about to have a nice lemon and ginger tea, and I'm about to steam my nose because when your vessel's up there, I just can't smell anything. So I'm gonna do a nice little steam and do that. But yeah, I think that's what you can do. That's what you can do. Just think out the box. Don't be worried about no one else in their journey. You stay on your journey. You stay on your journey, and you do what you gotta do. Remember your goals. That's all you gotta do. You gotta set your goals. Remember your goals and go smash those goals. That's the key thing. Do not get caught up in anybody else's journey. You understand what I'm saying? Stay in your lane. And that's important. In this industry, you gotta stay in your lane. Don't be looking at the next man and thinking, oh my God, he got 5 houses in 6 months. Do you know how much people have come to Wales after me and have built up their portfolio next to no time? And I'm sitting here like, You know what I do? I say, well done you. Well done you. You did it. Me, I didn't do it that fast. I just didn't. I'm not even gonna give you an excuse. I just didn't. And that's it. I'm not hating. I didn't really want to, because when coronavirus hit and everybody stuck no builders, I was like, well, that's why the Almighty was making the miracles happen like that. That's why, I'm picking my nose. Oh, that was why. it all made sense because everybody manages stress differently. I didn't think I could be managing that kind of stress. I got like 15 properties and the builder ain't coming, so none of them. He's like, I'm down in tools for 3 months. I'm like, well, I gotta invest his funds on this. So that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, I'm off. You take care. Bye.